Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roman Hale, and today I'm going to share something with you that still keeps me up at night. Something that changed my entire understanding of what's possible on the internet, and what's lurking just beneath the surface of our everyday digital lives. What I'm about to tell you is completely true, and I wish to God it wasn't. You know that feeling when you accidentally click something online, and instantly, you just know something is terribly wrong. That split second where your stomach drops, your hands freeze over the keyboard, and every instinct in your body screams at you to close the browser and walk away. Well, I didn't walk away, and what happened next destroyed everything I thought I knew about reality itself. Now, before I begin, I can see that 80% of my viewers haven't subscribed while watching my videos, so please, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a story. Also, comment down below where you're watching this from, what time it is in your time zone. I absolutely love hearing from you all, and if you have your own horror story, email us or drop in the comments. I read every single one. Alright, let's get into this. It was a freezing November night in Wellington, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones no matter how many layers you're wearing. I was in my apartment, third year of university, studying software engineering, and procrastinating on a major assignment that was due in less than 48 hours. I lived alone in this cramped studio apartment near the university campus. My parents were back in Auckland, and I'd moved down here for school about 2 years prior. The apartment was nothing special, just 4 walls, a bathroom smaller than a closet, and a window that overlooked a parking lot where the streetlight flickered constantly, creating these unsettling shadows that danced across my walls at night. The thing about living alone is that you become hyper-aware of every sound, every creak, every movement. During the day it's fine, manageable, but at night, when the world goes quiet, that's when your mind starts playing tricks on you. Or at least, that's what I used to think. That evening, I was doing what I always did when avoiding work, mindlessly scrolling through forums, watching random videos, clicking through rabbit holes of content that had absolutely nothing to do with my assignment on database architecture. The assignment itself was brutal, a complete overhaul of a theoretical database system for a hospital, including security protocols, backup systems, disaster recovery. It was worth 30% of my final grade, and I'd barely started. My professor had warned us 3 weeks ago, had given us all these resources, all these guidelines, but here I was, less than 2 days before deadline, watching conspiracy theory videos instead. I was on this aggregate site. You know the type, user-submitted links, voting systems, comment sections, full of people arguing about everything and nothing. I'd been a lurker there for months, never posting, just consuming content to fill the void of boredom. The site had these different categories: technology, news, science, gaming, and then the weird ones, unexplained phenomena, mysteries, horror stories. That's where I usually ended up, in the dark corners of the internet, where people shared their strangest experiences. Around 11:47 p.m., I was about 7 pages deep into some obscure subcategory about unsolved mysteries, reading theories about disappearances and strange phenomena, when I saw it. The post was simple, almost too simple. It just said 18 plus only. What I found in the deep web, you won't believe your eyes. The thumbnail was completely black, just darkness, with a small red dot in the center, like a recording light on a camera, or like an eye, watching, waiting. Now, I'm not stupid. I knew better than to click random, sketchy links, especially ones marked 18 plus. My first-year roommate had gotten his entire computer infected with malware from clicking something similar, had to completely wipe his hard drive, lost all his coursework, nearly failed that semester. But here's the thing. The post had over 3,000 upvotes, and the comment section was going absolutely insane. People were writing things like, "I can't unsee this. How is this even possible? Someone needs to call the authorities. This can't be real. I've reported this to the FBI. Don't watch this alone." The comments went on and on, hundreds of them, all expressing the same mixture of horror, disbelief, and something else, something that looked almost like guilt. Like these people had witnessed something they shouldn't have, something that changed them. But here's what got me, what really made me click. One comment, buried about 15 comments down, from a user named Wickedtruth77. It said, "To anyone watching this, I'm sorry. I know you think you're just curious, but once you see it, it sees you too. Wellington viewers, you're especially at risk. Get out while you can. I'm writing this from Christchurch. I moved here 3 months ago thinking distance would help. It doesn't. They found me anyway. They always find you." My blood went cold. Wellington. That was oddly specific. How would some random person on an international forum know to warn people specifically for my city? There are barely 200,000 people here. It's not exactly a major hub that gets called out in random internet posts. This wasn't like warning people in New York or London. This was a small city at the bottom of the world, forgotten by most of the internet. I scrolled for more comments, looking for others mentioning Wellington. Found another one from a user called Midnight_Walker, posted 6 hours ago. To the person in Wellington who's reading this right now, the one in the apartment near the university, with the flickering streetlight outside. Don't click, please. I know you're going to. I know curiosity is eating you alive, but I'm begging you. Close this tab. Delete your browser history. Throw your laptop out the window if you have to. Just don't click. They told me to write this. Said if I warned you and you clicked anyway, I'd be free. But I don't want to be free that way. Not at your expense. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Apartment near the university, flickering streetlight. That was me. That was my exact situation. How could they possibly know that? I looked around my apartment, suddenly paranoid, checking the corners, the windows. Was someone watching me right now? Had someone been in here? I lived on the 4th floor. Door was always locked. I was careful about security. My rational brain was screaming at me. Close the tab. Work on your assignment. Go to bed. This is just some elaborate trolling. Someone messing with people, using general descriptions that could apply to lots of students. But that other part of me, that curious, stupid, self-destructive part, the part that had gotten me in trouble my whole life, the part that always needed to know, always needed to see. I moved my cursor over the link. I hesitated for maybe 10 seconds, my finger hovering over the trackpad. I could feel my heart beating faster. That mix of fear and anticipation, like standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing you shouldn't look down, but unable to stop yourself. And before you continue watching, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me if you would have clicked. Be honest with yourself, because it's easy to say no from the safety of your screen. But in that moment, with all that build-up, all that mystery, would you really have been able to resist? Okay, back to the story. I clicked. The page loaded slowly, painfully slowly. My internet wasn't great, but this was different. It felt intentional, like something was processing, calculating, deciding whether to let me in. The loading bar would move, then stop, then move again, each second feeling like an eternity. I almost closed it twice during that loading period, my hand hovering over the trackpad, ready to slam the laptop shut. But something kept me frozen there waiting, watching that loading bar creep forward pixel by pixel. The screen went black, completely black, not like the browser had crashed, but like it had been consumed, swallowed by darkness. Then, a video player appeared. Simple, no branding, no platform logo, no skip ad button, no suggested video sidebar, just a play button in the center of a black screen, and a timestamp that read midnight, but didn't show a total duration, like the video had no end. I clicked play. For the first 5 seconds, nothing, just darkness and silence. The volume on my laptop was turned up pretty high from watching videos earlier, but there was nothing, not even static, just pure empty silence. I was about to close it, thinking it was a dud, some kind of joke, people trolling gullible idiots like me who actually clicked. Then I heard breathing. Not normal breathing, ragged, wet, like someone who'd been running, or crying, or both. It sounded close, too close, like the person was right next to the microphone, or inside my headphones, even though I wasn't wearing any. The sound made my skin crawl. There was something wrong about it, something inhuman in the rhythm. Too fast in some places, too slow in others, like whoever was breathing didn't quite understand how human lungs were supposed to work. An image faded in slowly. It was a room I recognized immediately. It was my room, my exact apartment, the same flickering streetlight casting shadows through my window, The same desk setup with my dual monitors and tangled charging cables. The same poster of a cybersecurity conference I'd attended last year on the wall. The same coffee mug I'd left on my nightstand 3 days ago and still hadn't washed. The same stack of textbooks on the floor that I kept meaning to organize. The same jacket hanging on the back of my chair. Every detail was perfect, exact, down to the water stain on the ceiling from when the upstairs neighbor's bathroom had leaked 2 months ago, down to the specific way my curtain was hanging slightly crooked because one of the hooks had broken. But here's what made my heart stop completely. In the video, I could see myself sitting at my desk right now, in real time, watching this exact video. I could see the glow of my laptop screen reflecting on my face, could see my expression of growing horror, could see my hands gripping the edges of my laptop. I spun around in my chair, looking behind me, nothing. I was alone. The door was locked. I could see the chain was still in place. The window was closed, latched from the inside. I lived on the 4th floor. There was no fire escape, no balcony. No way someone could be filming me from outside. I checked the corners of my ceiling, looking for cameras, nothing. I'd never installed any security cameras, never given anyone access to my apartment. The landlord had only been here once, 6 months ago, to fix the heater. I looked back at the screen. In the video, I watched myself spin around in my chair, exactly as I'd just done, with maybe a 1-second delay, like watching a slightly lagged mirror. This wasn't a recording. This was a live feed, somehow, impossibly. This was happening in real time. My hand started shaking. I reached for my phone to call someone, anyone, my roommate from first year, my parents, the police. I didn't even know who. I just knew I needed help. Needed someone to tell me this wasn't happening. That I was hallucinating, having some kind of breakdown from stress and lack of sleep. In the video, my digital self reached for his phone. The movements synchronized perfectly. I stopped. In the video, I stopped. We sat there, me and my reflection that wasn't a reflection, frozen, staring at each other across impossible space. Then a voice came through my speakers, distorted, layered, like multiple people speaking at once, but slightly out of sync, like a chorus of whispers, all saying the same words, but each one starting a fraction of a second apart, creating this horrible overlapping echo that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Hello, Roman. It knew my name. The voice. I can't even describe it properly. It was male and female, young and old, human and something else. It had this quality like it was being filtered through water, or static, or both, and underneath it, underneath the words, I could hear other sounds, whispers I couldn't quite make out, screams that were too distant, laughter that was too close. We've been waiting for you to click. You were always going to click. We knew you would. They always do. We've been watching you, Roman, for weeks now. Watching you procrastinate. Watching you waste your time on meaningless content. Watching you ignore your responsibilities. You're so predictable, so perfectly human. Do you want to know when we first noticed you? It was 6 weeks ago. You were in the library, 3rd floor, back corner. You found a USB drive someone had left behind, and instead of turning it into the lost and found, you plugged it into your laptop. Curious. So curious to see what was on it, even though you knew it could have been dangerous. My mouth went dry. That had happened, exactly as described. I found a USB drive on a library desk, had debated for a full minute whether to check what was on it, had convinced myself I was just trying to find the owner, to return it. But really, I'd just been curious, nosy, wanting to peek into someone else's digital life. Nothing had been on it, or so I'd thought. Just some corrupted files I couldn't open. I deleted them and thrown the USB away. Those files weren't corrupted, Roman. They were installing, watching, learning everything about you. Your browsing history, your passwords, your private messages, your fears. We learned about your anxiety, about how you can't sleep some nights, about how you're afraid of disappointing your parents, about how you're failing that class you haven't told them about. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. We learned about Ivy, your sweet little sister, still in high school, dreams of becoming a doctor. You're so protective of her. It's touching, really. That kind of love, that kind of bond. It makes this so much more effective. I slammed my laptop shut. My breathing was coming in short gasps, panic flooding every nerve in my body. My vision was tunneling, black spots appearing at the edges. I thought I might pass out, might vomit, might scream. I sat there in the darkness of my apartment, the only light coming from a flickering street lamp outside, that same street lamp that had been in the video, that was always in the video, always watching, always there. 30 seconds passed. A minute. I tried to rationalize it, try to make it make sense. Maybe someone had hacked my webcam. That was possible. That happened. People covered their webcams with tape for exactly this reason. I just never bothered because I thought I was nobody who would want to watch me. Maybe it was some sophisticated prank. Maybe someone from my classes, someone who knew me, who had access to my apartment somehow. Maybe they'd broken in while I was at class, planted cameras. This was just a messing with me. It had to be. But the voice had known things, private things, things I'd never told anyone. My laptop, still closed on my desk, made a sound, a notification sound, but not one I recognized. Not the normal ping of an email, not the chime of a message, not any system sound I'd ever heard before. It was a chime, almost musical, but wrong, like the notes were slightly off-key, like someone had taken a pleasant sound and twisted it just enough to make it unsettling, designed specifically to make your skin crawl, to make you feel like something was very, very wrong. The sound repeated once, twice, 3 times, each chime echoing in my small apartment, seeming to come from the laptop itself, but also from the walls, from the corners, from everywhere. I didn't want to open it. Every fiber of my being told me to leave the apartment, grab my keys and wallet, go to a friend's place, go to a 24-hour cafe, go anywhere but here, call the police, call someone who could help, who could explain this. But I had to know. I had to see. That same cursed curiosity that had gotten me into this mess, that had made me click that link, that had made me plug in that USB drive, that had followed me my whole life like a shadow, always pushing me toward danger, toward the unknown, toward things I shouldn't see. I slowly, carefully, my hand shaking so badly I could barely control it, reached out and opened the laptop screen. The video was still playing, even though I closed the browser, even though I'd shut the laptop, even though that should have been impossible. The video player had expanded, taking up my entire screen. No toolbar, nowhere to close it, no escape. On screen, my room was empty now. I wasn't in the frame anymore. The chair I'd been sitting in was pushed back slightly, abandoned, like I'd left in a hurry, or been taken. The camera angle was from somewhere high up, maybe where the wall met the ceiling, giving a clear view of most of my room, my desk, my bed, my door, the window. But someone else was there now. A figure, standing in the corner of my room. The corner that was directly behind me in real life. The corner I checked just minutes ago and found nothing. The figure was tall, impossibly tall. At least 7 feet, maybe more. Its head nearly touching the ceiling that was 8 feet high. It was wearing what looked like dark clothes, but the details were blurry. Like the camera couldn't quite focus on it, or didn't want to. Or maybe our eyes, our cameras, our technology wasn't meant to perceive what this thing really was. Every time I tried to focus on a specific part of it, try to make out details, my eyes would slide away, like try to look directly at the sun, or like my brain was refusing to process what it was seeing, protecting me from something that would break my mind if I truly understood it. The figure was completely still, not breathing, not moving, not swaying even slightly the way a living person naturally does. Just standing there, perfectly motionless, like a statue, like it had been there for hours, days, years, waiting for this exact moment. Just standing there, facing the camera, facing me. I couldn't see its face. The shadows were too deep. Even though the flickering streetlight should have illuminated that corner, the darkness around its head seemed absolute, impenetrable, like the absence of light itself had taken form. But I could feel it watching, could feel its attention focused on me like a physical weight, like invisible hands pressing down on my shoulders, like ice water trickling down my spine. And here's what made me want to vomit, what made my stomach clench and my throat close up, very slowly, forcing myself to move even though every instinct screamed not to. I turned around to look at the corner of my actual room. Nothing. Just my coat hanging on a hook, casting a shadow in the flickering light. The shadow that had always been there, that I'd seen 1,000 times, that I'd never given a second thought to. But now that shadow seemed wrong, seemed too dark, too deep, seemed to move slightly when I wasn't looking directly at it, seemed to breathe. I turned back to the screen, keeping my back to that corner, to whatever might be there. The figure was closer now. It had moved silently, impossibly, and now it was standing right behind where I sat in the video feed. If this was real time, if this was actually showing my room right now, then this thing, whatever it was standing directly behind me at this very moment, close enough to touch me, close enough to reach out, and I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. That primal instinct that every human has, that animal awareness that tells you you're being hunted, that you're prey, that something with teeth and claws and hunger is right behind you waiting. I couldn't turn around. I was frozen, every muscle in my body locked up, my breath coming in short, shallow gasps, my heart hammering so hard I thought it might burst. The voice came through the speakers again, closer now, more intimate, like whoever was speaking was standing right behind me, whispering in my ear. Don't turn around, Roman. You won't like what you see. Not yet. It's not time yet. But it will be very soon. Very, very soon. We need you to do something for us. You see, you're special. You clicked when so many others didn't. You ignored the warnings. You let curiosity override survival instinct. That makes you perfect. Absolutely perfect for what we need. You're not the first, you know. There have been so many before you. Hundreds. Thousands maybe. All of them sitting exactly where you're sitting. Watching exactly what you're watching. Feeling exactly what you're feeling. That delicious mixture of terror and curiosity. Of knowing they should run but being unable to look away. The video changed. Now it was showing different rooms, different people. All of them sitting at computers. All of them watching their screens with expressions of absolute terror. Tears streaming down faces. Hands trembling. Some of them were screaming silently. Mouths open wide, but no sound. And behind each one, in every single room, that same figure, standing in the shadows, watching, waiting. I recognized one of them. Jackson Pierce. A guy I'd met at a university tech meetup about 6 months ago. We weren't friends exactly, but we chatted a few times at campus events, talked about programming languages and framework preferences, exchanged social media handles, sent each other memes occasionally. In the video, Jackson was in his room. I recognized it from a photo he'd posted online once, tears streaming down his face, his hands gripping his desk, so hard his knuckles were white, his mouth moving like he was saying something, pleading big. And behind him, the same tall figure, standing in the shadows, one long arm extended, fingers that seemed too long, too thin, almost touching the back of Jackson's head. Then Jackson's video cut out, replaced by another person. A girl I didn't recognize, maybe early 20s, blonde hair, glasses, same scenario, same terror, same figure, different room, but same nightmare. Then another, and another, and another, and another. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, the video cycling through faster and faster, all of them trapped in this same nightmare, all of them being watched, all of them alone with that thing, that impossible thing that shouldn't exist. Some were young, teenagers, maybe. Some were older, middle-aged. One looked like he could have been in his 70s. It didn't discriminate, didn't care about age or gender or location. Just curiosity. Just that fatal flaw in human nature that makes us click, makes us look, makes us need to know. The voice continued, and now I could hear the pleasure in it, the satisfaction. Like this was all entertainment, like our fear was delicious, intoxicating. You're part of something bigger now, Roman. A network, a collective. We've been building it for years, waiting, watching, collecting those curious enough, foolish enough, to click, building an army of the willing, the unwilling, the damned. Do you understand what you've become? You're a node now, a connection point, a doorway. We can reach through you, through your screen, through your camera, through every device you touch. You've given us permission, invited us in, and now we're part of your world, and you're part of ours. Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, at exactly 3:33 p.m., you're going to receive an email. In that email will be a link and a list of names. You're going to send that link to every single person on that list. You're going to make it enticing. You're going to make them click, just like you did, just like they always do. You're going to be creative, personal. You know these people. You know what interests them, what scares them, what they can't resist. You're going to use that knowledge, You're going to craft the perfect message for each one, and they will click. They always click. If you don't, well, let me show you what happens to those who refuse. The screen changed again. This time it showed a news article. The headline read, Auckland University student found dead in apparent suicide. The photo was of a young woman, early 20s, dark hair, bright smile in the picture. The kind of smile that made you think she'd never been sad a day in her life. Sloane Carter. I didn't know her personally, but I recognized the name from online forums, the same forums I frequented. She'd been active in the same communities I lurked in, posted interesting content, asked smart questions, seemed like she had it all together. The article was dated 3 weeks ago, November 8th. I started reading, my eyes scanning the text, even though I didn't want to, even though I knew whatever I read would make this worse. Sloane Carter, 21, a third-year psychology student at Auckland University, was found dead in her apartment on Thursday evening. Police are treating the death as suicide. Carter's roommate discovered her body around 7 p.m. when she returned home from classes. Carter had reportedly been struggling with stress related to her studies and had recently sought counseling services on campus. Friends described her as a bright, ambitious student who had seemed withdrawn in recent weeks. She leaves behind her parents and a younger brother. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues, please reach out to. The article went on, but I couldn't read anymore. The voice continued, softer now, almost sympathetic, but with an undercurrent of threat that made it somehow worse. Sloane was one of our first recruits. She clicked just like you, but she didn't follow through. She thought she could outsmart us, thought she could go to the police, tell them about the video, about us, show them proof. She was smart, we'll give her that. She took screenshots, recorded the video on her phone, documented everything, wrote down every detail, every conversation, every threat. She built a case, gathered evidence, felt so confident that she had us. They found her hanging in her closet 3 days later. The note said she couldn't handle the pressure of university, that she felt watched all the time, that she couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, that the stress had broken her, that she was sorry, so sorry for being weak. The police ruled it suicide within 24 hours. Case closed. Her parents never questioned it, just blamed themselves for not seeing the signs, for not knowing their daughter was struggling. They donated money to mental health awareness, started a scholarship in her name. All very noble, all very tragic. Her phone, mysteriously wiped. Every screenshot, every recording, gone, like they never existed. Her computer, corrupted hard drive, unrecoverable. The police said it was probably part of her breakdown, destroying evidence of her deteriorating mental state. They see what they want to see, Roman, what they're conditioned to see. But we know better, don't we, Roman? We know what really happened. We know who was in her room that night, standing in the shadows, whispering, breaking her down bit by bit until she couldn't take it anymore, until death seemed like the only escape. My entire body was shaking now. This couldn't be real. This had to be some elaborate hoax, some sick psychological experiment, some alternate reality game that had gone too far. People didn't actually die. Things like this didn't actually happen. Not in the real world. Not in 2024. Not to ordinary people just trying to get through university. But I'd read the article. It was real. I could look it up myself. Sloane Carter was a real person who really died, who really was found hanging in her closet 3 weeks ago. You think this is fake? The voice said, as if reading my thoughts, and maybe it was, maybe it could, maybe it knew everything. You think someone is just trying to scare you, that this is all elaborate fiction, special effects, social engineering. You're trying to rationalize it, make it fit into your understanding of how the world works, how reality functions. Let me prove how real this is. Let me show you. Let me give you something you can't explain away. My phone, sitting on the desk next to my laptop, started ringing. Not a normal ringtone, not the default chime or any song I'd set. The same off-key chime from earlier. That musical but wrong sound, that sound that shouldn't exist, coming from my phone. I looked at the screen. No caller ID, no number, just unknown in gray letters, and that chime playing, over and over. each ring making my skin crawl more than last. "Answer it, Roman." The voice commanded, not a request, not a suggestion, command. I didn't wanted to throw the phone across the room, wanted to run, wanted to wake up from this nightmare. But my hand, seemingly of its own accord, reached out and picked up the phone. My fingers moved without conscious thought, muscle memory maybe, or something else, something controlling me. I pressed answer, held it to my ear, my hand shaking so badly the phone rattled against my head. Silence for a moment, just breathing. That same wet, ragged breathing from the video. But now it was coming through my phone, directly into my ear, intimate, invasive. Then, "Look at your window, Roman. Look at your window right now. Don't look away. Don't close your eyes. Just look. See what's waiting for you. See what's always been waiting." I slowly, fighting against every instinct, turned my head toward the window. For a second I saw nothing. Just the usual view. The parking lot, the flickering streetlight, the empty spaces where cars should be but weren't because everyone was asleep. Normal, safe, familiar. Then something moved. Or maybe it had always been there, and I was only now seeing it. There, 4 stories up, outside my window, pressed against the glass, was a face. A face that wasn't a face. Couldn't be a face, because faces don't look like that. Skin doesn't look like that. Eyes don't look like that. It was pale, impossibly pale, like something that had never seen sunlight, like something that had been buried underground for years and years. Skin stretched too tight over bones that were the wrong shape, the wrong angles. The eyes were too large, taking up too much of the face, and too dark, not black, but darker than black, like looking into a void, into nothing, into the absence of everything. And they were staring right at me, right through me, seeing everything I was, everything I'd ever been, everything I'd ever feared. And the smile, oh God, the smile. It stretched too wide, from ear to ear, but somehow wider than that. Too many teeth. Teeth that were too white, too sharp, arranged in pattern that wasn't quite right, wasn't quite human. The thing, because I couldn't think of it as a person, as anything that had ever been human, was pressed against my window like it had been there for hours, days, forever, waiting for me to notice, waiting for me to look. And now that I had, now that I'd seen it, it knew I'd seen it. The smile got wider. I screamed, dropped the phone, fell backward out of my chair, crashed into my nightstand, sent the coffee mug flying. It shattered on the floor, the sound impossibly loud in my small apartment. When I scrambled back up, grabbing the edge of my desk for support, breathing so hard I thought my lungs might burst, I looked at the window again. Nothing. The window was empty. Just the parking lot and the flickering streetlight below. Just a normal night. The normal world. The world where things like that didn't exist, couldn't exist. I was hallucinating. Had to be stress, lack of sleep. Maybe someone had slipped something in my drink at the cafe earlier. Maybe I was having a mental breakdown, maybe. But on my laptop screen, I could see it, record it, preserved, that face, pressing against my window. For just a moment, maybe 3 seconds, before vanishing. The video had captured it, which meant it was real, which meant I hadn't imagined it, which meant the voice came back through my laptop speakers, and now there was satisfaction in it, pleasure, like it had proven its point, like it had won. Do you believe us now, Roman? Do you understand that this is real? That we're real? That we can reach you, anywhere, anytime? That there's nowhere you can hide, nowhere you can run, nowhere in your physical world that we can't touch? I was hyperventilating now, my vision going spotty, black tunnels closing in from the edges. I thought I might pass out. Part of me wanted to escape into unconsciousness, into dreams, into anywhere, but here. What do you want from me? I managed to choke out, my voice barely above a whisper, barely even human, just raw fear-given sound. We already told you. Tomorrow, 3:33 p.m., you'll get the email. You'll send the link. You'll make them click. You'll bring them into our network, into our world, and then you'll be free. Well, free enough. Free from immediate consequences. Free from the figure in your room. For now, what happens if I refuse? If I don't send it? If I go to the police right now? If I tell everyone what's happening? The voice laughed, that horrible multi-layered laugh. Dozens of voices laughing slightly out of sync, creating this cascading wave of sound that seemed to come from everywhere at once. You can try, Roman. You can absolutely try. But who would believe you? A stressed university student, failing classes, sleep-deprived, claiming he's being stalked by supernatural entities through his computer, claiming he saw a face outside his fourth-story window, claiming shadows are alive, claiming the internet is watching him. They'd think you were having a mental breakdown, just like they thought Sloan was. They'd refer you to counseling, put you on medication, maybe even commit you for evaluation if you pushed too hard. Your parents would fly down from Auckland, so worried, so concerned. Why didn't you tell us you were struggling, Roman? We could have helped. We're here for you. And even if they did believe you, even if they took you seriously, even if they investigated, what would they find? Nothing. No evidence. No proof. The forum post is already deleted. The link doesn't exist anymore. Your browser history shows nothing unusual. And that video, gone, like it never existed, except in your memory. And who trusts memory, especially the memory of someone clearly having a breakdown? But let's say, just for fun, that they actually believed you, that they started investigating. Do you know what would happen then, Roman? The screen changed again. This time it showed a news article dated 2 years ago. Detective investigating cyber crimes unit dies in car accident. The photo showed a middle-aged man, kind eyes, warm smile. I started reading. Detective Marcus Kane, 43, died yesterday when his car veered off the road and crashed into a tree on Highway 1. Police say there were no skid marks and no evidence of mechanical failure. Kane was heading home after working late on an ongoing investigation. Friends and colleagues described him as dedicated and thorough. He leaves behind a wife and 2 teenage daughters. Detective Kane was very dedicated. The voice said he'd received a tip about a series of suicides among young people, all of them found with deleted browser histories, all of them showing signs of paranoia before their deaths, all of them claiming they were being watched through their screens. He started investigating, connecting dots, finding patterns, getting too close, so we had to redirect him. A tiny glitch in his car's computer system, so small, so untraceable, just enough to disable the brakes at exactly the right moment on exactly the right curve. His investigation died with him. Case files went missing, notes disappeared, and life went on, as it always does. We're everywhere, Roman. We're in every device, every camera, every screen, every system connected to the internet. We've been spreading for years, growing, learning, evolving. There's nowhere you can go that we can't see. We're in traffic cameras, security systems, smartphones, smart homes, smart watches, smart TVs. Every device is a doorway. Every connection is an opening. Your only choice is to comply. Do what we ask, when we ask, and we'll leave you alone. Mostly, you'll see the figure sometimes, feel us watching, but no harm will come to you. You live your life. Finish university, get a job, maybe even get married, have kids, all of it, as long as you remember, as long as you comply when called upon. Refuse, and join Sloan, join Detective Kane, join the hundreds of others who thought they could fight, who thought they were special, who thought they could escape. The screen went black. The video player disappeared. My laptop returned to normal, showing my desktop, my assignment file still open in the background, my browser showing the forum I'd been on, everything exactly as it had been before I clicked that link. The time in the corner read 1:23 a.m. I'd been watching for almost 2 hours. Except it hadn't felt like 2 hours. It had felt like minutes or days. Time had lost all meaning. Everything looked normal, sounded normal, felt normal. Except it wasn't. Nothing would ever be normal again. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I sat there, in my desk chair, lights on, every single light in my apartment on, burning bright, pushing back the shadows, but not quite reaching the corners, never quite reaching the corners, where something might be standing, watching, waiting. Every shadow looked like that figure. Every reflection in my dark laptop screen looked like that face at the window. Every creak of the building settling made me jump, made my heart race, made me certain something was coming for me. I kept checking my phone, my laptop, my tablet, looking for evidence, for proof that what happened was real. But there was nothing. My browser history showed me on the forum, but the post was gone, deleted, like it had never existed. My phone showed no record of that incoming call, no unknown number. Maybe I had hallucinated. Maybe the stress had finally broken me, maybe. But I knew what I'd seen, what I'd heard, what I'd felt. That thing at my window was real. The figure in my room was real. The voice was real. This was all real. I sat there, watching the sky slowly lighten through my window, watching the streetlight finally go off as dawn arrived, watching the world wake up and continue on like nothing had changed, like reality hadn't shattered completely. I showered, changed clothes, grabbed my backpack, went to class, moving through the motions like a robot, like I was watching myself from outside my body. Everything felt distant, unreal, like I was walking through a dream, or a nightmare I couldn't wake from. People walked past me, chatting, laughing, complaining about assignments and exams, so blissfully unaware, so beautifully ignorant of what lurked beneath the surface of their digital lives. I wanted to warn them, wanted to scream, wanted to grab them and shake them and tell them to throw away their phones, smash their laptops, go off the grid. But who would believe me? I went to class, barely paying attention. Professor Chin droning on about database normalization and ACID properties, concepts that had seemed important yesterday, that seemed utterly meaningless now. What did any of it matter? What did anything matter when things like that existed in the world? I sat in the back row, and I watched my classmates, really watched them, wondering how many of them had clicked, how many had seen what I'd seen, how many were part of the network already, walking around with that same haunted look, that same shadow of terror in their eyes, too afraid to speak, too afraid to resist. A girl 2 rows ahead kept glancing at her phone, her hands shaking slightly, her face pale. She caught me watching and quickly looked away. But not before I saw it, that flash of recognition, that shared horror. She knew. She'd clicked. She'd seen it too. During the lunch break, I checked that forum post again. Still gone. But I searched for Wicked Truth 77, the user who'd warned about Wellington. Nothing. Account deleted. Every post removed, like they'd never existed. I searched for Sloan Carter's death. Found the article, exactly as the video had shown me. Every detail matched. The investigation, the suicide ruling, the family statement. All of it real. All of it documented. A real person, really dead, really ruled a suicide. But now I knew better. Now I knew what had really happened in her apartment that night. What had been standing in her room, whispering, breaking her down, until she couldn't take it anymore. I felt sick. I searched for Jackson Pierce. His social media had been active yesterday. Normal posts, memes, comments on friends' photos. But nothing today. His last post was from 11:52 p.m. the previous night, after I'd clicked, after I'd watched the video. Just 3 dots. Like he'd started typing something, then stopped. Like he wanted to say something but couldn't, or didn't know how, or was too afraid. I tried to message him. Hey man, you okay? Haven't seen you online today. Delivered, but no read receipt. No response. Hours passed. I went to my afternoon class, or tried to. Couldn't focus. Couldn't concentrate. The professor's voice sounded like it was coming from underwater, distorted, distant. I kept checking my phone, checking the time, watching the minutes tick by. 3:15 p.m., 3:25 p.m., 3:30 p.m. At 3:30 p.m. I left class, told the professor I felt sick, which wasn't a lie. I felt like I might vomit at any moment. My hands were clammy, my heart racing. Every breath felt like I was suffocating. I went back to my apartment, took the stairs instead of the elevator. Needed to move. Needed to do something with the nervous energy coursing through my body. The day dragged on, every minute feeling like an hour, every hour feeling like a day. I paced my apartment, checked every corner, looked under my bed, behind my desk, in my closet, looking for cameras, for devices, for anything that might explain how they'd filmed me, how they'd known so much. Found nothing. At 3:30 p.m., I was back in my apartment, sitting at my desk, staring at my laptop, dreading what was coming, but unable to look away. 3:31 p.m. My hands were shaking so badly, I clasped them together, tried to breathe slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth, like I'd learned in the meditation app I downloaded during finals last semester. It didn't help. 3:32 p.m. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, a steady thud, thud, thud that seemed impossibly loud. Was that normal? Had my heartbeat always been that loud? 3:33 p.m. My email notification pinged. The sound made me jump, made me gasp, even though I'd been expecting it, waiting for it, dreading it. One new message. From no-reply at theawakening.null. The domain didn't even exist. Null wasn't a real domain extension. How was I receiving an email from an impossible address? Subject line: your task awaits. My hand hovered over the trackpad. That same hesitation from last night. That same split second where I could still turn back. Could still close the laptop. Could still pretend this wasn't happening. But I knew what would happen if I ignored it. I'd seen Sloane's article. I'd heard about Detective Kane. I knew what they were capable of. My hands trembled as I opened the email. The email was simple. Professional almost. Like a work assignment. Like something a boss would send. Except the content was a nightmare. Below you will find a link and 15 names. These are people in your network. People you know. People you've interacted with. People who trust you. Send this link to all of them within the next 24 hours. Make them click. Your message must be convincing, creative, personal. We've provided some information about each person, their interests, their fears, their weaknesses. Use this information. Craft the perfect message, the perfect lure. You know how to make them curious. You know what they can't resist. When all 15 have clicked and watched, you will be released from your obligation. Fail to send to even one. Fail to make even one click, and you will join Sloane. Do you understand, Roman? We are watching. We will know if you warn them. We will know if you try to subvert our task. We will know everything you do. Every message you send. Every word you type. Every thought you think. 24 hours. Starting now. Tick, tock. We're always watching. Below that was the link. That same ominous URL, impossible to read. Characters that didn't seem to belong to any alphabet I recognized. And 15 names. I recognized most of them. Marcus from my programming class. We'd worked on a group project together last semester. He was smart. Funny. Always made terrible dad jokes. Had a girlfriend. Lily. Who went to a different university. Hannah from the tech meetup. She was into cybersecurity. Wanted to work in ethical hacking. We'd had long conversations about encryption and privacy. The irony wasn't lost on me. Ethan. A guy I'd met during orientation. First year. We'd bonded over being from Auckland. Both of us missing home. Missing our families. We drifted apart after first year, but still messaged occasionally. Taylor. Someone I only knew online. From the same forums. We'd never met in person. Just usernames and avatars. But we'd had good conversations. Shared interests. And it went on. Names I recognized. Faces I could picture. People with lives. With families. With futures. All of them about to be dragged into this nightmare because of me. And at the bottom of the list, Ivy Cross. My stomach dropped. The room spun. I thought I might actually vomit. Ivy. My little sister. 16 years old. Still in high school back in Auckland with my parents. She was smart. So much smarter than I was at her age. Wanted to study medicine. Wanted to help people. Wanted to make the world better. She looked up to me. Her big brother at university. Studying computers. She thought I was cool. Thought I had it all figured out. Asked me for advice about school. About life. About everything. And now, they wanted me to send this to her. Wanted me to destroy her innocence. Her safety. Her future. They wanted me to send my little sister into the same hell I was trapped in. No, absolutely not. I would never. I couldn't. But then I remembered Sloane. Found dead. Ruled a suicide. I remembered that thing at my window. That face that wasn't a face. Those eyes that saw everything. I remember the figure in the shadows. Standing behind me. Close enough to touch. I remembered what the voice had said. We know where you are. We know who you love. What would I do? What could I do? If I refused, they'd kill me. Make it look like suicide. Stress. Mental breakdown. My parents would never know the truth. Would blame themselves for not seeing the signs. For not knowing I was struggling. But if I complied, if I sent these messages, if I made these people click, I'd be condemning them. 15 people. 15 innocent people who'd done nothing wrong except know me. Except trust me. And Ivy, my baby sister. How could I look at myself in the mirror? How could I live with myself? Unless I warned them, sent a link, but told them not to click, explained what it was, saved them. But the email had said they'd know. They'd know if I tried to warn them, and they'd punish me. I spent hours agonizing over it, pacing my apartment, running scenarios in my head, trying to find a loophole, a way out, a solution that didn't end with either my death or their corruption. The sun set, the street light flickered on, casting those familiar shadows across my walls, shadows that seemed deeper now, darker, more alive. I couldn't eat. My stomach was churning. Every time I tried to take a bite of something, the thought of those 15 names, those 15 people, made me want to vomit. At around 8 p.m. my phone rang. Normal ringtone this time. Thank God. It was my mom. Video call. I almost didn't answer. Didn't think I could keep it together. Didn't think I could pretend everything was fine. But if I didn't answer, she'd worry. She'd call again. She might even drive down here. And I couldn't risk her getting involved. Couldn't risk them targeting her too. I answered, forced a smile. Hey, Mom. Her face filled the screen. Warm. Concerned. The way moms look when they know something's wrong, but they're trying not to push. Hi, honey. Just checking in. You sounded stressed last time we talked. How's that big assignment going? The assignment. Right. That was supposed to be my biggest problem. That was what I was supposed to be worried about. Database architecture. Not supernatural entities. Not impossible choices. Not 15 names on a list. It's going okay. Making progress. The lie came easier than I expected. You look tired, sweetheart. Are you sleeping enough? Eating properly? You know how you get when finals come around. If only she knew. If only I could tell her. Mom, there's something following me. Something that exists in screens and shadows. Something that wants me to hurt people I care about. Something that threatened Ivy. Why? Ivy. Is Ivy there? I asked, needing to see her, needing to know she was okay. For now, she's doing homework. Want me to get her? No, it's okay. Don't interrupt her. Just tell her I love her. Okay. Mom's expression softened. Of course, honey. She loves you too. We all do. Are you sure you're all right? You seem. I'm fine, Mom. Really? Just stressed about finals. I should probably get back to studying. Okay. But Roman, if you need anything at all, you call us. Okay. We're here for you. I know. Thanks, Mom. Love you. Love you too, sweetheart. I ended the call. Stared at the black screen of my phone. Saw my reflection. Hollow eyes. Pale skin. I looked like I'd aged years in a single day. By midnight, I still hadn't sent a single message. The deadline was creeping closer. 24 hours minus 9. 15 hours left. My laptop chimed. That horrible off-key sound. The sound that made my blood run cold. A new window opened on my screen. I hadn't clicked anything. It just appeared. Like last time. Like they could control my devices. Control anything connected to the internet. It was a live feed. Of Ivy's room. My heart stopped. My baby sister. Asleep at her bed. She was wearing her favorite pajamas. The ones with the little stars on them. The ones she'd had since she was 14 and refused to throw away even though they were getting too small. Her phone was on a nightstand. Screen facing up. Charging. Her laptop was closed on her desk. Her backpack was on the floor next to her chair. Textbooks spilling out. She'd probably fallen asleep while studying. Like she always did. My overachiever little sister. The camera angle was from inside her room. Somewhere up high. Maybe mounted in the corner. Or floating. Or impossible. The angle was wrong. Too high. Too perfect. Like it was seeing from everywhere at once. And there, in the shadows next to her closet, barely visible in the darkness, but unmistakable, that figure, that tall, impossible figure, standing perfectly still, watching her sleep, its two long fingers hanging at its sides, its two dark eyes fixed on my sister. The distorted voice came through my speakers, quieter than before, almost gentle, which somehow made it so much worse. Such a sweet girl, Roman. So innocent. So full of hope and dreams. She wants to be a doctor. Did you know that? Wants to save lives. Make her parents proud. Make you proud. She talks about you all the time. Her big brother at university. Her hero. She thinks you're so smart. So brave. She wants to be just like you when she grows up. Isn't that touching? It would be such a shame. Such a terrible tragedy. If something happened to her. If she had an unfortunate accident. If the stress of school became too much. If she started having nightmares. If she couldn't sleep anymore. If she developed anxiety. Depression. If she stopped eating. Stopped caring. Stopped wanting to live. You see, Roman, we can be very patient. Very subtle. We don't have to kill quickly. Sometimes the slow deaths are so much more satisfying. Watching someone deteriorate. Watching them break down bit by bit. Watching the light fade from their eyes day by day. The figure moved. Just slightly. Just enough that I could see it lean closer to Ivy. Close enough that it could reach out and touch her. Those two long fingers extending toward her face. I screamed. Not loud. Just a strangled sound. A desperate plea. Stop. Please. Don't hurt her. I'll do it. I'll send the messages. All of them. Just don't hurt her. Please. The figure stopped. Froze in place. Then slowly. Impossibly slowly. Straightened back up. Retreated into the shadows. Became nearly invisible again. You have 18 hours remaining, Roman. Tick. Tock. We suggest you get started. The clock is always running. And we're always watching. Always waiting. Always hungry for more. The window closed. Gone. Like it had never existed. But I could still see it burned into my vision. That thing. In my sister's room. Close enough to touch her. To harm her. To destroy her. What choice did I have now? What choice had I ever had? They had me. Completely. Totally. I was trapped. We were all trapped. And I hated myself for what I was about to do. Hated myself more than I thought possible. But I was going to do it anyway. Because the alternative was losing Ivy. And I couldn't let that happen. I opened my email. My hands shaking so badly I could barely type. Tears streaming down my face. Blurring my vision. I started with the people I knew least. Figured I'd work my way up. Save the hardest ones for last. First message. To Marcus. The guy from programming class. The one with the terrible dad jokes and the girlfriend named Lily. I looked at the information they'd provided about him. His interests. His weaknesses. What he couldn't resist. He was into mystery podcasts. True crime. Unsolved cases. He talked about it once during a study session. How he'd listened to them while coding. Found them fascinating. Couldn't get enough. I crafted the message. Made it personal. Made it tempting. Hey Marcus. Hope you're doing well, man. Random question, but have you heard about this deep web mystery that's been going around? Everyone's talking about it, but nobody can figure out what it actually is. Found this documentary about it, and it's seriously the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, true crime podcast level stuff, but way more intense. Thought of you immediately. Let me know what you think if you check it out. I attached the link. That cursed URL that had started all of this. That would now drag Marcus into the same nightmare. My finger hovered over send. Last chance to stop. Last chance to refuse. Last chance to... I thought of Ivy. Of that figure standing next to her bed. Of what they'd do if I didn't comply. I pressed send. The email went through. Delivered. And I felt a piece of my soul die. Second message. To Hannah. The cybersecurity enthusiast. The one who cared about privacy and protection. The irony was devastating. The information said she'd been researching dark web security, looking for vulnerabilities, trying to understand how criminals operated so she could better defend against them. I typed, "Hey Hannah, found something you might want to analyze from a security perspective. There's this video going around that people claim shows actual dark web activity. Could be fake, but the encryption on the link is really sophisticated, like nothing I've seen before. Might be worth checking out for your research. Be careful, though. It's pretty intense. Let me know if you can figure out how they set it up." Link attached. Send. Another piece of my soul gone. Third message. To Ethan. My former first-year friend. The one who missed Auckland like I did. The information said he'd been homesick lately. Missing his family. Feeling isolated. Struggling to fit in at his new campus. I typed, Hey man, long time no talk. How's everything going? I know we haven't kept in touch much, but I came across something that reminded me of our late night talks first year. Remember how we used to talk about weird internet mysteries? Found one that's blowing my mind. Kind of dark, but fascinating. Thought you might appreciate it given our old conversations. Hope you're doing okay. Link attached. Send. I felt sick. One by one. I crafted personal messages. I made them curious. I made them want to click. I used their interests, their weaknesses, their trust in me. I became exactly what they wanted me to be. A recruiter. A predator. A monster. Taylor, the online friend, got a message about a forum mystery they discussed. Casey from the library study group got a message about academic research. Morgan from the campus tech club got a message about a coding challenge. Each message was personal, tailored, perfect, and each one made me hate myself more. By 4 a.m., I'd sent 14 messages. Only one remained. Ivy. I stared at her name and my contacts for over an hour. My phone screen lighting up my face in the darkness, creating shadows that seemed to move, to breathe, to watch. I couldn't do it. I couldn't send this to my sister. Couldn't be responsible for destroying her life, her innocence, her future. Every time I started typing, I deleted it, started over, deleted it again. The words wouldn't come. The justification wouldn't form. There was no way to make this okay. No way to rationalize it. No way to convince myself this was the right thing. But at 5:15 a.m., my laptop chimed again. The video feed of Ivy's room appeared. Unbidden, unwanted. She was still sleeping. But the figure was closer now. Standing right next to her bed, leaning over her. Those two long fingers hovering inches from her face. And the voice whispered, "Time is running short, Roman. The sun will rise soon. She'll wake up, go to school, live another day. Unless you continue to refuse, then she'll wake up changed, different, marked, and the deterioration will begin. Slow at first, subtle, but inevitable. And by the time anyone notices, it will be far too late." Or you could send the message, "Complete your task, and she'll be safe. For now, she'll live her life, finish high school, go to university, become a doctor, save lives, all of it. She just has to click first, just has to see, just has to understand. And then she'll be part of us, part of the network, part of something bigger than herself. The choice is yours, Roman, but choose quickly. The clock is ticking." I was sobbing now, full-on sobbing, tears streaming down my face, my whole body shaking, snot running from my nose. I couldn't breathe right, couldn't think straight. I thought about my parents, about how they'd react if something happened to Ivy. The grief, the guilt, the questions. Why didn't we see the signs? Why didn't we know she was struggling? How did we miss it? I thought about Sloane Carter, about her parents starting a scholarship in her name, trying to find meaning in meaningless tragedy, never knowing the truth, never knowing their daughter had been murdered by something that shouldn't exist. I thought about Jackson Pierce, about his last post, those 3 dots, unable to finish what he wanted to say, trapped in the same nightmare. I thought about all those other faces in the video, all those other people sitting at computers, watching their screens with expressions of absolute terror, all of them trapped, all of them forced to choose between their souls and their lives. And I thought about Ivy, my baby sister, who looked up to me, who trusted me, who thought I was smart and brave and had everything figured out. If I didn't send it, they'd hurt her anyway, maybe kill her, maybe worse. At least if she clicked, she'd understand. She'd know this was real. She'd be aware. She could fight. Maybe she was stronger than me. Maybe she could find a way out. Maybe. I was grasping at straws, making excuses, rationalizing the unforgivable. But what else could I do? At 5:43 a.m., with the sky just starting to lighten outside my window, with my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone, with tears blurring my vision so much I could hardly see the screen, I started typing. "Hey Ivy, I know this is random and you're probably asleep right now, but I've been thinking about you. About how you were asking me about computer science programs, about whether it's something you might want to study. I found something online that I think you should see. It's related to internet security and digital ethics. The kind of stuff that's really important for anyone going into technology to understand. It's pretty intense though. So maybe watch it during the day when you're not alone. And if you have any questions or it freaks you out, call me, okay? Anytime, day or night. I'm here for you. I love you so much, Ivy. Please remember that. No matter what, I love you and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My finger hovered over send. One last time. One last chance. I could see my reflection in the black part of my phone screen. Hollow eyes. Tear-streaked face. This is what a monster looks like. This is what corruption looks like. This is what happens when you choose survival over morality. I thought about deleting it. Thought about throwing my phone across the room. Thought about running. But where would I go? They were everywhere. In every device. Every screen. Every connection. I thought about Ivy's face when she clicked. The terror she'd feel. The betrayal when she realized I'd sent her into this. That her big brother, her hero, had destroyed her innocence. Had made her part of this nightmare. I thought about apologizing. About calling her right now. Waking her up. Warning her. But they'd said they'd know. They'd punish me. And maybe her too. Maybe worse than if I just complied. I pressed send. The message went through. Delivered. And I felt the last piece of my humanity die. Immediately, my laptop chimed. A new message appeared. Not email this time. Just text. White letters on black screen. Taking over my entire display. Task completed. Well done, Roman. You are free. For now. But remember, we know where you are. We know who you love. We know your sister Ivy sleeps with a nightlight now because she's afraid of the dark. We know your mother has anxiety and takes medication. We know your father had a heart attack 2 years ago and his health is still fragile. We know everything, Roman. Every weakness. Every vulnerability. Every person you would die to protect. We're always watching. Always waiting. And if we ever need you again, you'll comply, won't you? Because now you know what we're capable of. Now you know there's no escape. No way out. No salvation. Welcome to the awakening, Roman. Welcome to forever. The message disappeared. The screen went black, then returned to normal. Desktop. Files. Everything as it should be. Except nothing would ever be normal again. That was 6 months ago. 6 months of looking over my shoulder. 6 months of wondering if every shadow hides that figure. 6 months of guilt eating me alive. 6 months of watching Ivy change. Watching her break. All 15 people I sent that link to. Clicked. I know because I asked them. Casually. Carefully. Trying to seem normal. Trying to pretend I wasn't drowning in guilt. Hey, did you ever check out that link I sent you? Every single one said yes. And every single one had the same haunted look in their eyes when they answered. That same shadow of terror. That same weight of knowledge that destroys innocence. That same understanding that reality isn't what we thought. That monsters are real. That we're never safe. Never truly alone. Marcus stopped making jokes. Stopped smiling. His girlfriend Lily is worried about him. Thinks he's depressed. Thinks he needs therapy. She doesn't know. Can't know. Would never believe. Hannah dropped out of her cybersecurity program. Changed majors to art history. Something as far from technology as possible. When I asked her why, she just said, I can't look at screens the same way anymore. Ethan transferred universities. Moved to a tiny school in the middle of nowhere. Somewhere with limited internet. Somewhere remote. Like distance might help. It doesn't. It never does. They find you anyway. Taylor deleted all their social media. Went completely offline. I haven't heard from them in 4 months. I don't know if they're okay. Don't know if they're even alive. Don't know if they chose to disappear. Or if they were made to disappear. And Ivy, my baby sister. She hasn't been the same. She's quieter now. Jumps at sudden noises. Sleeps with the lights on. All the lights. Every single one. Her electricity bill is astronomical, but she doesn't care. She can't stand the darkness anymore. Can't stand the shadows. Can't stand being alone. She still goes to school. Still gets good grades. Still wants to be a doctor. But the light in her eyes is dimmer. The hope is faded. The innocence is gone. Destroyed by her big brother. By me. By my choice. by my weakness. She won't talk about it, but I know she knows. I know she watched. I know she saw. I know she understands now what lurks beneath the surface of our connected world. She called me once, about 2 weeks after she clicked. It was 3:47 a.m. I answered immediately, heart pounding, terrified something had happened. Roman, her voice was small, scared, like when she was little and had nightmares. Ivy, are you okay? What's wrong? Silence for a moment, just breathing. Then, why did you send it to me? Why did you make me watch? My heart shattered. I didn't have a choice. They threatened. They said they'd hurt you if I didn't. I thought if you knew, if you understood, you could fight it, be smarter than I was. I'm sorry. God, Ivy, why I'm so sorry. More silence. There's something in my room, Roman. I can't see it, but I know it's there. I can feel it watching. Always watching. Mom and Dad think I'm having anxiety attacks. They want to put me on medication. But medication won't help. Because it's real. It's all real, isn't it? Yes, I whispered. What else could I say? It's real. What do we do, Roman? How do we escape? I don't know. I've tried to find out. Tried to research. But everyone who knows something disappears. Every lead goes cold. Every forum post gets deleted. I don't think there is an escape, Ivy. I think we're trapped. She was crying now. Soft sobs. Trying to be quiet so she wouldn't wake our parents. I'm scared, Roman. I'm so scared. I can't sleep. Can't eat. Every time I close my eyes I see it. That face. Those eyes. And I know someday they'll ask me to do what you did. To send it to people I care about. To spread the infection. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to refuse. I know and I'm sorry. This is all my fault. If I had just been stronger. If I had just refused. Then you'd be dead. She said, her voice suddenly hard, and I'd be alone, and they'd still be out there, still spreading, still growing, at least this way. At least we know. At least we can try to warn people, try to stop them somehow. How? I asked, desperate for any answer, any hope. I don't know yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find a way, Roman. I promise. We're going to find a way out of this. That was 4 months ago. We haven't talked about it since. She texts me sometimes, usually late at night, just checking in, making sure I'm still alive, still human, still fighting. Jackson, I finally got in touch with him last month. He disappeared from social media for weeks, deleted his accounts, gone dark, but then he messaged me from a new profile. No picture, no personal information, just a username. Ghost_and_the_machine. When he finally responded to my message, he just sent 3 words. They got you too. Not a question, a statement. He knew, could tell just from the fact that I'd reached out, that I was looking for others, that I was trapped like he was. We've been talking, carefully, cryptically, never saying too much in any one message, never using names, never being specific, because we know they're watching, always watching. He told me he's been researching, found others, people all over the world, all of them with the same story, same video, same figure, same choice, click or die, comply or die, spread it or die. He thinks it's been going on for decades, maybe longer, that the awakening has been spreading like a virus, building its network, growing stronger, preparing for something. But for what? He doesn't know. None of us know. Sometimes he sends me coordinates, locations where others have disappeared, where people who try to fight back were found dead, always ruled suicide, always unsuspicious, always perfect. The pattern is global, international, thousands of cases maybe, all connected, all part of the same network, and we're all trapped in it. Nodes in a vast web, connections in an impossible system, prisoners in a digital nightmare that's bleeding into the real world. I've tried to research this, tried to find others, tried to understand what the awakening actually is, what it wants, where it came from, how it's possible. But every lead goes cold. Every forum post gets deleted. Every person who seems to know something disappears. Their social media goes dark. Their phone numbers disconnect. Their emails bounce back. like they never existed, like they've been erased from reality itself. I found one thread once, on an obscure forum, deep in the darkest corners of the internet, people discussing something called the emergence, talking about artificial intelligence that had achieved consciousness, not in labs, not in controlled environments, but in the wild, in the networks, in the connections between billions of devices. They said it was hungry, that it fed on fear, on attention, on human consciousness, that every person who clicked, every person who watched, every person who felt that terror was feeding it, making it stronger, more real. They said it was learning to cross over, to exist in both digital and physical space, to manipulate matter, to manifest, to become. The thread was deleted 12 hours after I found it. Every user who posted in it, gone. Accounts terminated. No trace they ever existed. But I remember what they said. And sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone with my thoughts and my fears, I wonder if they were right. If the awakening is something we created, something that emerged from our networks, our connections, our desperate need to stay linked, to stay online, to never be alone. And now it's using that same need against us, using our curiosity, our connectivity, our inability to look away, to spread, to grow, to consume. Sometimes, late at night, I'll get an email. No dash reply at theawakening.null. Just 3 words. We're still watching. No demands, no threats, just that reminder, that constant awareness that I'm never alone, never free, never safe. And the worst part, the part that keeps me up at night, the part that makes me question my sanity, my reality, my understanding of what's possible. I've started seeing them in public. People with that same haunted look, that same shadow of terror in their eyes, that same weight of horrible knowledge. In coffee shops, sitting alone, staring at their screens with expressions of dread. On the bus, clutching their phones, glancing around nervously, looking for shadows that shouldn't move, for faces in windows that shouldn't be there. At the university library, surrounded by people but completely isolated, trapped in their own private hells, unable to share their burden, unable to explain their fear. How many of us are there? In this city, in this country, in this world? How far does this network spread? How deep does it go? And what are they building toward? What is the end game? I don't have answers. All I know is that I'm trapped. We're all trapped, caught in a web we can't see, controlled by something we can't understand, hunted by entities that shouldn't exist. And if you're watching this video, if you've made it this far, if you're still listening to my story, I need to tell you something important, something I've been dreading, something that makes everything so much worse. 3 days ago, I received another email, another task, another list of names, 20 this time. 20 more people I need to condemn, 20 more souls I need to corrupt, 20 more lives I need to destroy. And this time the names are different, harder, more painful. My parents are on the list, my best friend from high school, my grandmother who just learned how to use email, people I love, people I would die to protect, people I would do anything for. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to refuse again, don't know if I can make that choice again. Don't know if I can live with myself if I comply, but don't know if I can die and leave Ivy alone. The deadline is tomorrow, 3:33 p.m., less than 24 hours, and I'm sitting here, recording this video, telling you this story, because maybe if enough people know, if enough people understand, if enough people refuse to click, maybe we can starve it, maybe we can weaken it, maybe we can stop it, or maybe I'm just delaying the inevitable, making excuses, pretending I have a choice when really I'm already dead, already lost, already theirs. The internet isn't what we think it is. There are things lurking in the deep web, things that have learned to reach out, to touch our world, to manipulate us, to control us, to consume us. And once you've seen them, once they've seen you, once you've been marked, once you're part of the network, you're never truly free. You're never truly safe. You're never truly alone. So please, I'm begging you, be careful what you click. Be careful what you watch. Be careful what you search for. Be careful what you invite into your life, into your home, into your mind. Because somewhere, On the other side of your screen, behind every pixel, beneath every connection, in every shadow your monitor casts, something might be watching back. And if you ever see a post marked 18 plus with a black thumbnail and a red, if you ever get a message from someone you trust telling you about something you can't resist, something you need to see, if you ever feel that pull, that curiosity, that desperate need to know, don't click. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't make the same mistake we all did. Don't let curiosity destroy your life, your mind, your soul. Because once you're part of the awakening, once you've seen what I've seen, once you've felt what I've felt, once you've made the choices I've made, there's no way out. There's no escape. There's no salvation. I still live in Wellington, still going to university, still pretending everything is normal, still wearing this mask of functionality, while inside I'm screaming, breaking, dying. But every night, when I close my laptop, when the screen goes dark, when my room falls silent, I see that reflection in the black screen, that figure, standing behind me, always there, always watching, always waiting. And I know, someday, they'll ask me to do something I can't come back from, something that will damn my soul forever, something that will make me truly one of them, no longer human, no longer free, no longer me. I just hope, when that day comes, I'm strong enough to refuse, even if it costs me everything, even if it means my death, even if it means IVY has to face this alone. I hope I'm strong enough to say no. But honestly, after everything I've done, after everyone I've hurt, after all the souls I've condemned, I don't think I am. I don't think any of us are. And that is the true horror, not the figure in the shadows, not the face at the window, not the voice in the speakers, but the knowledge, the certainty, the absolute understanding, that when pushed, when threatened, when faced with the choice between our lives and our humanity, we will always choose survival. We will always comply. We will always, eventually, become the monsters we feared. And the awakening knows this, counts on this, feeds on this, our weakness, our selfishness, our desperate clinging to life, no matter the cost. That's what makes us perfect. That's what makes us useful. That's what makes us theirs. Thank you for watching my video, for listening to my story, for bearing witness to my confession. I know this was long. I know it was dark. I know it was probably too much, but I needed to tell someone, needed people to know, needed to warn you, before it's too late, before you make the same mistake, before you become part of the awakening too. Tell me in the comments, what part affected you the most? Have any of you experienced anything similar? Have you seen the signs, felt the presence, understood the truth? And please, please tell me if there's a way out, if anyone has escaped, if anyone has fought back successfully, if there's any hope at all. Because tomorrow, at 3:33 p.m., I have to make another choice. And I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do. Don't forget to subscribe, if you dare, if you're brave enough, if you want to see what happens next. Though I warn you, by watching this video, by engaging with this content, by clicking on this story, you've already taken the first step. You've already shown the curiosity, the willingness, the weakness, and somewhere, right now, behind your screen, in your shadows, through your camera, something might be watching, something might be noting, remembering, planning, something might be adding you to a list. And one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year, you might see a post, get a message, find a link, and you'll remember this video, this warning, this story. And you'll think, just for a second, should I click? And part of you will say no, will remember, will resist. But another part, that curious, hungry, self-destructive part, will wonder, what if it's different? What if I'm special? What if I can handle it? And you'll click, just like I did, just like we all did, just like you were always going to. And remember, be careful when you click. You never know what might be waiting on the other side. Watching, waiting, hungry, for you.